Hello, sunshine. Welcome to Be Visible with Veronica, the podcast where bold conversations and soul-aligned strategy help you awaken your most powerful self. I'm your host, Veronica Bahn. Get ready to stop dimming your light, own your magic, and finally be so visible you can't be ignored. Let's get visible. Hello, sunshine. Welcome back to Be Visible with Veronica. Last week's episode with Nicole Porter of Your Parent Porter was phenomenal. There was some tearful moments, some great stories, and an impact conversation around preparing for the inevitable of losing your parents. And you will want to understand what that conversation shares, the impact it can make in your life, and why she founded Your Parent Porter. But today's episode is with Patti Beres. We've known each other for about 4 or 5 years. In fact, she was one of the very first conversations I had before we launched Be Visible with Veronica. And I can't believe she's in the studio with us today, all the way from Wisconsin. Patti Beres, thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited too. I just happened to be in the area bringing my daughter here for grad school. And I'm so happy that it worked out that we could share this time together.
Your story will impact so many, Patti. The background of starting your company, the growth that you've had, the family business that you created with it, and then how you've moved it forward, how needing to take some step backs, this beautiful book that you've written that's launching in August.
So excited.
We're just going to take this conversation in a very fluid way because that's how we do it here on Be Visible with Veronica.
I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you.
Let's talk about how you started your company. The name of it is
Be Green Pro.
Okay.
So I started my company really on a whim, and I'm excited to share that with you.
You know what I love about that is, what are we now, 62 episodes in, and almost every entrepreneurial conversation that we've had in here has been because of a wing, a prayer, a whim, a solution, something that happened that a woman founder said, I have a solution. I just went through something myself. I have some expertise. I wonder what a company would look like. And that's what you did. So what's the whim look like?
Well, I think it starts out when I was a child that I've always just been really in tune with nature. I've just always felt my most comfortable when I could be outside. I love hot weather, sunny weather. I love trees, flowers, all kinds of animals. And I have just always been an environmental advocate, not in a tree hugger way, but in a way that I really feel people and the planet need to coexist together. And we can both find what we need if we give a balance to that. And so I think ever since childhood, I've really been about how do people and planet coexist. And so my company is really founded on that type of an attitude, I guess. It's really meeting people and meeting the planet where we are together and finding a balance on what we both need.
I think I remember a story around you sitting with your babies in the grass in your home. And you had your animals, and somehow there was a conversation around what's on the grass, or what we're putting on the grass, or bugs on the grass. There was something about you being outside with the kids.
Yes.
So that's how I remember. And I don't remember how you came up with the name Be Green Pro, but I do remember it was you outside playing with your kids.
So remember, I'm from the very lovely state of Wisconsin, and actually my company was founded in the winter time.
Okay.
And it was a day after school, and my kids and I were just taking a walk with our 2 dogs. I had 4 children, taking a walk on a snowy winter afternoon, and I saw a lawn care company out doing service. And in Wisconsin, the ground is frozen way, way past February, and there is no good reason anywhere on earth for a company to be doing lawn care on a frozen piece of lawn.
Okay.
So I saw it, and I've never really gotten over this, that I've heard that term, seeing red. I always thought that was like something that you saw in cartoons, when like a piano fell on somebody's head, and, the Roadrunner, and the Coyotes, something like that.
We're dating ourselves, Roadrunners and Coyotes.
I know, kids don't watch that
Because
anymore.
I know what you're talking about, actually.
But it is a real thing. I got so frustrated that my vision actually turned red. And I said to my children, I was so frustrated by this thing happening on somebody's lawn, that I said to my children, if we had a company, we would do things so much different.
Wow.
And my oldest son at the time said, well, then, Mom, why don't we? Why don't we? And it was in that moment that time kind of stood still. So this is another thing that I just really never thought was a real thing, but it actually happened. I feel like the world was moving in slow motion all around me, and it felt like a long time that I was standing there and thinking, wow, why don't we? And it almost felt like I was in this moment of conviction, where I thought, either I teach my children that we take a chance and we make a difference, where we have the ability and the skills and the mindset to do so, or we're just mouthing off and adding to the problem. And so I turned around in what seemed like a long time, but must have been sheer seconds, and said, yes, let's do it. Why don't we? And so we went home that day, and I created a letter that I sent to everybody in my inbox. And my oldest son was in high school at the time.
Okay.
So we sent it out to people that we knew from his high school as well. And 25 people took a chance on us that year.
Wow.
And
so what year was that?
That was 2011. So, we officially incorporated as Be Green Lawn Care in 2011, March of 2011. And so we started with 25 people that year. We added a couple along the way. And now we serve well over almost 3,500. It was 2,500 last year.
Oh,
and,
my gosh.
Actually, I have one son that still works with me at the company. And he said, Mom, we are well over 3,500 now. So, it's very, very exciting.
How does that feel 15 years later? Here you are. What went from a whim to realization, 3,500 lawns, you're making a difference on the planet, in people's yards. What was your mission? What was the mission statement coming out of that whim?
So really, it's amazing to me every day, because honestly, I never really thought that we would be impacting the planet the way we are. I thought, in my head, well, we'll do this for a couple years and we'll see how it goes. And, we'll help a few people find solutions that are better for their lawn, healthier for their environment. Healthier living is really why I do this. It's not really about lawn care for me. It's about more sustainable, healthier living. And I thought, I will help my kids earn some college money, teach them about work ethic and entrepreneurship. And here we are, here we are 16 years later. Really, we are saving millions of gallons of toxic product from going into the environment every year. And I really don't think I'm exaggerating on that at all.
Wow.
And so it's really, really exciting. And it's always been based on the mission that we're finding solutions for people. I loved how you said that in the beginning of the show. It's really not about sales or anything else except finding healthier solutions and creating an awareness for that. That's really been our mission, to let people know that they don't need to put all of those chemicals on their lawn. I always say it like, is your body healthier if you ingest a lot of chemicals, or is it better if you eat natural, healthy, whole foods and treat your body right?
And let the body's own natural immune system do the work.
That's exactly what we're doing for your lawn. And I know organic, kind of this concept of sustainability often gets a bad rap of, you're greenwashing or doesn't really work. And
why do you think that is? Why do you think that it can get a bad rap and people poo-poo it?
Because there's a lot of greenwashing out there, and that is the honest truth, unfortunately. But we're really out there saying it's possible, it's available, and we're doing it.
Well, 3,500 yards later, you're doing something right.
Yes. We're setting the example, and we're getting the results.
Let's talk about those results for a moment, because you started with 25 lawns, and you probably had a small crew at the time.
Yes.
Did you go out into the into doing the yard? Were you always behind the scenes getting it going? What was your role there?
So I have been out on the lawns, and I still will go when I'm needed. I prefer to be behind the scenes. I think that's really the way an owner needs to grow a business.
I love that you said that. Pro tip for all those entrepreneurs out there, the owner needs to be behind the scenes. Getting it off the ground is one thing, but then you need to learn to be the CEO and president of your company.
And I do think it's important to get your hands dirty, too, because it's important to know what people are experiencing. It's important to know what your teammates are experiencing.
Teammates, I love that you shared it like that.
Yes.
They're not employees.
No, not at my company. We're teammates.
Beautiful.
My company started as Be Green Lawn Care, and we switched it to Be Green Pro in 2017.
Okay.
Really because we were offering more services than just lawn care for a couple of different reasons. But I really went with that pro because it reminded me of a couple of different things. First of all, professional, but also it really reminded me of being a team.
Like a pro team. I love that. How many employees do you have working for you now, Patti?
Currently, we have 25, and you asked earlier about how did we start. We really started out of my living room and my garage, and it was me and my 4 kids all participated in that. Really, especially in the beginning, my oldest son, he really helped get things going. My husband still has his own career, but he is in the he's in the manufacturing end of lawn and landscaping.
Oh, okay.
And so that really helps us out a lot because he has the ins and outs of everything lawn care, and he helps us formulate our own products.
Nice.
So in the beginning, it was really my husband that was out there teaching us all how do we go out there and fertilize a lawn? How do we create our own organic products to help lawns grow their best in their healthiest state for people, pets, and the planet? And also, how do we treat customers? How do we give the best customer service and best customer care?
So I love this mission. I love your message. I love how you service 3,500 lawns. I most especially love your team concept. That is such a beautiful way to look at your company. And,
Thank you.
And the growth of how you're making an impact in 25 other economies in your company. You have a legacy effect happening, Patti. How does that feel?
It feels great because I really feel we are succeeding in our mission. We're making an impact not only for people, but I think in the lawn care industry as well. I think it's really hard-pressed to find anyone else in our direct area that is still a small local company doing what we do. So we tend to be on the more costly side of the industry, a very competitive industry, mind you. However, I don't think what we do is apples to apples with traditional lawn care. So if you want what we have, you're going to only find it in very select companies. Mine is one of them. So that mission has been stuck with us. The team concept is really important to me. I really feel in my company that there is no one person that is more important than anyone else. We are a heavy labor industry, and I think for a long time the lawn care industry has been very stereotypical, that it is male-dominated, and it's also an industry that doesn't take a lot of education to participate in. And I think both of those are really changing. There is a lot of women in the industry industry now, and I think we're becoming very well respected. We're very knowledgeable, and we're very capable. And additionally, as far as the education piece of what it takes, at least in my company, we really rely on very heavy training. People in my industry really need to know a lot of science, and it's we're all licensed. Even the people in my office, it's important to me that we're all licensed. And I think it's really important to remind people that we have to know the science between what kinds of grass are growing, what weeds are out there, what diseases are out there, what types of products do we have to use, how much of that product is going to be important to use at the right time, in the right place, in the right environment. There is really a lot of education that needs to happen behind what we do.
So when you wake up in the morning and your feet hit the ground, what are you the most excited about going into your day for your company and your teammates?
I really think it is, that is such a good question. There's so many good choices for me to, well, first of all, I always start my day. I'm going to just say that I really have this concept, and in fact, it's in my new book. But I think,
which we're going to talk about in a minute.
I always start my day with a little bit of silence. And I really think that silence is where you have a cup of coffee with the universe. It really is just where you connect with yourself. It's where you connect with something greater than yourself, and it prepares you for connecting with others. So I always start with a little bit of silence and a little bit of prayer and thanksgiving. So that really helps me prep for my day. And then I think what I'm really excited about is really just going out there, and it's making that difference. It's really knowing that finding solutions for people is not sales, right? It's really finding what somebody out there has an issue or a problem or isn't living their best life, and we're finding ways to help them do that, to live more healthy lifestyles, to live more sustainably, to have a better enjoyment with their family, save them time. There's just so many ways besides the sustainability factor that we're out there really giving people a better option.
Thank you for sharing that part of your journey and your story. I think it's so incredibly important for founders of companies to realize starting your day matters. How you start it matters. And it also matters how you impact the people that are coming into your sphere, working with you, teammates, or clients, customers. It sets the tone and leadership from the top down.
So one of the things I would really love to mention, since we're talking about teammates, is I always consider my teammates my first customers. It's really important that it was one of the reasons I wanted to start the company. In my industry, there's two different options for how you want to work. There's office work and there's outdoor work. So we always call our outdoor workers our field experts, because it's important for me that they be an expert in what they are offering to our paying customers. Now, my teammates I consider my first customers, because I want them to experience a better way of working. And so we really work hard on, you hear this term culture a lot, and it can get overused, but I'm not saying we're perfect, but we work at this all the time, that we want to give a better experience for our teammates to have better lifestyles as well. We want to give them fair pay. We want to give them good benefits. We want them to work in an enjoyable atmosphere. I really always whenever we're interviewing, I tell our new interviewees that you spend, if not more, just as much time working with your work family as you do your home family. You're up, if you're working full time, you're up early in the morning, you're going to work, you're spending 8 hours with this team of people, and you really have to enjoy them. You have to really want to be there. Exactly. Otherwise, what's the point?
Beautiful. I want to step back in time a little bit. And I would love you to share with our viewers and listeners what it was like for you when you first realized you crossed over that 7-figure mark and became $1 million business.
It was a long journey, and I just really had to take a deep breath because there was times that I really didn't think I was going to make it there. And I think what I really want to say about that is you don't get there alone. And it takes really asking people who have been there and done that and can coach you along the way to get past that hump. There is a saying that I think is true that if you make it past 5 years in business, there's a good chance you'll make it. And if you make it past 10 years, there's an even better chance you'll make it. And at 16 years, I think we've made it.
Yes, you have. Congratulations. That's just, I want to celebrate you in that space because as you're growing your company, you made it to the 1.1%.
Yes.
1.1%, last I heard, of women-owned businesses are $1 million, gross annual revenue $1 million. And how many years ago was that for you? 4 or 5? That first time?
Well, I'm going to give some credit where credit is due.
Okay.
Because I found eWomen Network, I think it was in 2019, the summer of 2019 before COVID hit. And that was one of my lowest points in my business. Before I had met eWomen Network, I really had considered, was this going to continue on for me? And I'm going to give you a couple just reasons why.
Okay, please do.
So, as I mentioned, we started in my home. And my home became a place that was no longer my home. And especially for my kids, I want to say that they really endured a lot with me through this, and my husband. But it's not an easy thing to start a small family business. And we moved furniture out so that desks could be in place. There were strange people coming into our home early in the morning, so that my kids could no longer, they just couldn't run down the stairs in their pajamas anymore and get breakfast. There were strangers in our home. And also, my garage was filled from top to bottom. Our 3.5-car garage was filled literally top to bottom in organic fertilizer bags. You literally had to take a little step ladder and crawl up onto the fertilizer to get across one side to the other. And there were trucks always parked in our driveway, and our neighbors were lovely about the whole thing, but it got to be too much. So in 2017, I did find a small space to lease and get the company out of my home, but that was a new expense. So now I had new employees, and we really are, I'm not making a pun of this, but we really are a grassroots company.
I love that.
We were a true startup. Just very little money that we had to purchase things. We started with an old blue pickup truck that we bought for $2,500 and some push spreaders. And so in 2017, when we moved into a leased space, it was a really big new expense that I had to figure out, how was I going to pay for this? How was I going to pay for the employees? How was I going to pay for the new equipment that we needed?
And can I ask you, did you go try to get a small business loan or get a business line of credit? Was that on your radar yet? Had you done that to get into the lease space, or did that come later?
So I did get a small business loan to buy new equipment, new vehicles, new equipment. I thankfully never really had to dip into that other than for the equipment that I bought. But I also didn't pay myself for a long time, and it got to be very tiresome. It got to be very long hours. It got to be a point where I didn't have enough boundaries around what was important to me, what was important to my family.
So you lost yourself along the way of creating this
I really did.
company, which is very common.
Yes.
Especially for women founders.
Overworked, underpaid, tired, exhausted, and then I found eWomen.
So let's talk about that for a moment. So eWomen Network is a global international women's networking group for women entrepreneurs founded by Sandra Yancey. and she's now 26 or 7 years into the company.
Yes.
And you said about 10 years ago you discovered this community. Were you looking for a networking group, or were you looking for a way to find camaraderie with other women founders and business owners?
So I had some networking contacts, and I do believe networking is really important in a business. Again, I said earlier, you don't do it alone. So if nothing else, it's really great I think there's a difference between networking and, like, I would call it round table, or some people call it mastermind. But
Okay.
both are really important, I think, in all business, whether you're a startup or, been doing it a long time, because there's different ages and stages of wisdom along the way. But eWomen was a little bit different type of networking for me. I don't necessarily get a lot of business from it, just because I'm pretty central, a geographic region. But what it did really tell me is it gave me examples of women that were doing it. And Sandra Yancey and the trifecta, Kim Yancey and Brianna Day, they really helped me see how to set my boundaries, how to step up, how to lift as I climb, as she would say it. Those are really her words. And that's where I met people like you, Veronica. Honestly, it really gave me the knowledge, the mindset, the ability to take bigger steps, to not just dream, but to really take the action that was necessary to grow the company to where it is today.
Well, you leaped.
Absolutely.
And you didn't just baby step it, you leaped. I envision when I joined eWomen Network, I had just read, it was 2019, a book by Guy Hendricks called The Big Leap, something like that, I think. And it's a fish, a goldfish in a fishbowl leaping out, going into another, and it's called The Big Leap. I think that's what it's called. And that's what you did. You leaped because you found yourself in a community and with somebody to mentor you in your company.
Yes, and it was a leap. I want to say that because it was that time in my business where I was either deciding that I had to do something different. That definition of crazy is doing everything the same and expecting a different outcome.
Yeah.
And I had to either do something different or I had to close my business. And so I did. I took that leap. I had met these amazing women at eWomen Network. I went to the conference that first year. It really was a God wink, I think. I had joined eWomen just a couple months earlier. I wasn't going to go to the conference, and someone had a ticket that she gave me for free. And I thought, well, I'm going to take this opportunity and go. All I had to pay for was my hotel room. I got a roommate, and it was really an amazing experience meeting all these women and seeing different things that they were so impressive to me. And Sandra offered a program which was way out of what I thought was my budget. And so when you're talking about taking that leap, I had to really think. I saw women raising their hands and going up and signing up for this program, and I was like, who are these women? This is crazy. What are they doing? And then I thought, I sat back for a minute, and it was almost a time standstill moment, not quite, but I thought, I want to be those women. I want to be one of those women that doesn't hesitate about spending this money to improve herself and her situation.
Oh, the power of yes, Patti.
Yes.
That's so... If you're listening or watching this episode today, I want you all to know the power of yes and stepping into faith over fear will impact your life and create a legacy for you that you can't even imagine. You can't even imagine. And that's what you did, Patti.
And I want everybody to know, really, that I did not come from any amazing, life situation. I grew up in the equivalent of foster care. I lived in a guardianship for part of my life. Lived in many different homes growing up as a child, not just with changing locations, but with different people. I joined the military at 17 because I just really had no clue how I was going to live. I didn't know where my roof was going to be over my head. I didn't know how I was going to earn a living. And so I was very lucky. I met my husband young, and we've been married, 36 years now.
Congratulations.
4 wonderful children. I'm very lucky, very thankful, very faithful thankful to God for, the situation that has been put before me. But that day at eWomen, taking that leap really did change my life, changed my mental attitude, changed how I viewed just being able to do anything. And I also want to give credit to the military for that, honestly.
I love this.
Yeah, not that I loved really being in the military, but it really did give me, I was not confident going, at that age, at 17. I was a very not confident person. And going through basic training, I was one of the first cohorts that actually had men and women going through the same cohort.
Okay.
And that really gave me a different mindset. I thought if I could do this, I can do almost anything.
So it helped you with confidence. It helped you with faith. It helped believe in you. And you had already tested what some of your abilities were.
It did.
You already tested that leading edge.
Yes.
That, can I go beyond that edge?
Yes.
Can I go beyond what I can see?
Yes.
And can I trust that?
Yes. And I think meeting the women at eWomen just really made me remember that. There's a saying that says sometimes you might give up right before you're ready to, just soar. And I think that was my moment. Mm-hmm.
That I've read a book called 3 Feet from Gold. It talks about that
yes.
so many people. And I read Outwitting the Devil. I'm a believer that readers are leaders and earners are learners.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always reading a book. And those 2 books, along with The Big Leap, those were impactful to me as a business owner and trying to figure out who Veronica is on this planet. What does she want to, what change does she want to affect? How does she want to bring women's voices and stories to the forefront? How does she want to lift them? And I had to process through a lot of that myself. So
yes.
You've hit your 7 figures and then some.
Yes.
You have this incredible company, 25 employee teammates that you have, and then you decided to write a book.
Oh my goodness, yes. So my book is coming out August 12th. I'm so excited about it. And it's called The Grass is Greener.
Okay.
And it's stories of growing in life and lawns. And so there's a little bit of both.
Life and lawns, really? Oh, I love that. And we'll put all the information in the show notes for everybody. But tell us, what made you decide to now tell your story?
Because I think it's powerful to have knowledge about your lawn, first of all. My book is really full of stories about how to help yourself grow your lawn better.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And also how that's connected to your life and healthier living and your lifestyle.
Interesting.
And I think it's really empowering for people to have that information.
I love the premise of this book, and The Grass is Greener. Is that a picture of you on the cover? Kind of, maybe a little bit.
It's a look-alike.
It
yes.
does look. It just.
Yes.
I remember in one of our masterminds, you sitting talking about knowing, like, you feel like sometimes you can talk to nature. Like
yes.
It was something that you felt the embodiment of nature around you from the time you were a little girl.
Yes.
And so when I saw this book cover, when you announced it to a group text message last week, and I saw it, I got goosebumps for you, Patti, because it was, I knew you had a story brewing in you, but not everybody takes that action, takes that step, writes about it. But there's a piece where you talk about nature in developing this book, and there's something about sitting in nature.
Yes.
And how it heals you.
It's absolutely true. This isn't just something that I'm bringing to you. This is scientifically proven that spending time in nature, it helps your circadian rhythm. It's an impulse from the earth that has an energy. It has an electricity, and it matches. It can slow your heartbeat. It can reduce your stress, and it really. I have this, in this world today where we say we have more ways to connect than ever before, we feel less connected. And I really do feel like you can't connect to others until you connect with yourself better. And so this is a way, getting out in nature, feeling your feet in the grass. Just
on a non-toxic grass because of Be Green Pro.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. And so it really is about how do you connect with yourself so that you can connect better with others, have healthier relationships, and really know yourself better.
I think golf courses need to know about you because we play a lot of golf here in Arizona, and I have taken off my shoes. I'm new to the game. Literally have taken off my shoes when I'm at the driving range or I'm putting and just let my feet be on the grass. And I'm always wondering, like, what else am I putting in my feet? Because your feet absorb the most things, and that's why people put essential oil on the bottom of their feet or certain. You absorb a lot, and if you're standing on chemically based grass.
It's true. So that we actually, a lot of our clients are dog owners or dog lovers.
Okay.
And I always say, hey, don't forget about you and your kids. But dogs are such an important part of people's lives now. And we always say, well, when your dog is walking in the grass, they are foot to lawn. They're rolling in it. Their toys are in it. They're licking their paws. And they're also bringing it back into your home. So that's a big point.
That's important. Okay, so we've talked about so many things here today, Patti, and your book, your company, your mission, your success, your family, what's important to you. If you had a magic wand 5 years from now, looking back, what do you want your company to look like? What legacy do you want somebody to say because they had an experience with you, Patti Beres, and your company, Be Green Pro?
I guess I would want them to feel like they were impacted in a way that helped them relate better to nature. Connecting people to each other and to nature is really what I want to build a legacy around. And I would hope that they have better relationships, not only with themselves, but with their family, having more time to play outside, really just really helping themselves to appreciate nature in a way that helps them appreciate themselves and their family.
Well, I think you are such a great orator that you should be a speaker. You should be traveling all around the United States and the globe talking about the impact you are making on the planet, the company that you created, how you had the fortitude to stick with it, knowing you needed to take that big leap, and what it's been like for you to do it. So I'm honored that you were on the show today. Thank you so much for joining us in studio, sharing your impact and who you are. Patti, thank you. Thank you so much. This has been so fun. Oh my gosh, so great. Well, if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you share it with your friends and subscribe, because it is amazing how many people will listen and yet they won't subscribe to the channel. We are now in over 145 cities across the United States and Canada. We also have 46 countries, I think, that you are listening in and viewing. So thank you so much for supporting Be Visible with Veronica and these incredible stories of impact. And as an entrepreneur, I hope that you are learning some great, amazing, impactful pro tips. And on those days when you're not sure, you can get yourself out of bed and go make a big yes decision. Let these episodes remind you why you started your company in the first place. We will see you next week. Bye for now. Thanks for tuning in to Be Visible with Veronica. If today's episode sparked something in you, share it, tag me, and pass it on. Your presence has power, and the world is better when you let it be seen. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and keep showing up as the unstoppable force you were born to be. I'll see you next time.